Hi, and welcome to Self-Care Sunday. As you hear the sound of the bell, just take a moment to find your seat or stand tall. Take a few moments to feel your breath. Feel it move in and out. And start to lengthen your exhales just a little to invite just a bit more slowness into your body and mind. And let's just remember that even though you may be by yourself right now practicing, that we are all practicing together, that there are others out there across your community, your family, your school, or maybe even beyond that are pausing for this same practice and for this commitment to coming into presence and self-care for just a few minutes. Just remember, we're not all alone. So as we get started, or as I get ready to introduce you to today's practice, I'm going to do a little Mr. Rogers, one of my heroes, and put on my tennis shoes. Because today's practice is going to be about walking and just being outside. But before we get started with that practice, let's take a moment to just remember that self-care is not about perfection. I'm a recovering perfectionist or trying to recover. And it can be really challenging when that's the pattern. It's not always about being calm and positive and having it all together. It's just not realistic. We're human beings. There are moments when our emotions are going to get the best of us, when we're tired, when we have had way too much on our plate, when our tolerance for stress feels really, really low. So we're going to walk together. But let's remember the truth. The person that you want to be in your life, parent, teacher, leader, friend, spouse, partner, for yourself to be really real and authentic, it does not come from chasing quick fixes and like do 1, 2, 3 and all will be fixed. It comes from regular, consistent, small practices. And these practices can't depend on whether you feel like it. There has to be a commitment to what you actually want in your life and who you want to be and how you want to show up that helps you to come back to it and do it even when you don't feel like it, over and over and over again. And if we make practices, self-care practices and health practices too big or extravagant, or we need like a lot of money or special clothes, or we set our sights too high on the amount of time we expect ourselves to do it, it's not going to happen. That takes way too much motivation. And most of us may start by feeling really motivated, but then that motivation starts to diminish as the kind of like excitement of starting something new wears off. So small, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. What is the most realistic, something that feels like almost too easy, an amount of time or a practice? I'm taking a stroll right now. I'm not worrying about 10,000 steps. I'm not worrying about getting a workout. I'm going to just spend some time in nature, just 5 minutes or so. And I'm going to let myself just stroll and then check in with my body. And if my body feels like, oh, I want to go a little faster, I'm trying to listen to my body, not my mind and what I feel like I should be doing, which can be really, really hard. It can be a really hard shift to make, but it just takes practice like everything else. So I'm going to listen to my body. And for my intention for this walk, it's just about spending a little time in nature and using my senses to help me to be present and kind of reset my nervous system and restore myself so that I can feel my stress drop or feel just a little bit more manageable. I'm not expecting myself to have all my troubles go away, not have any worries. I'm just thinking about this as hygiene, like I'm brushing my teeth or flossing my teeth or washing my hair or whatever, washing my hands, like hygiene, things that are helping to take care of and strengthen my nervous system in these small, regular, consistent ways that actually build up nervous system resilience. Resilience isn't something that just comes from doing something once in a while. Resilience comes from building our nervous system capacity. And that nervous system capacity building takes regular, consistent practices that actually help us to feel more present, more grounded, more in our bodies, more of a sense of not just a physical strength. It doesn't have to be a physical strength. It's more of like an emotional strength. Am I perfect at this? Do I always get this right? No. I have my many moments where I snap or, have a big emotional reaction because I haven't taken enough time, or maybe I've skipped, several days or even a week or two of practices, and I can tell. So knowing that and knowing my experience with that is what keeps me coming back and trying to just keep starting again, coming back to it as often as I can, and like prioritizing it in my life, even again, if it's just a few minutes. So as I stroll, as I walk, one of the things that I try to remember to do is to use my senses to really take in the nature that's around me. We know that nature is can be a huge nervous system regulator, but the nervous system regulation comes from not just the experience of like having a moment of like awe or seeing and experiencing the beauty, but giving our nervous system and body a chance to really take it in and feel it. So right now, what I'm noticing through my senses, first I can hear, I'm listening to sounds. I can hear my feet moving and crunching the leaves and the rocks beneath my feet. And it's kind of that fall sort of sound. But it's a beautiful, warm day. The sun is coming through, so I can really feel the sun as it hits my skin and the warmth of the air. And as I look around, I'm seeing trees, leaves that are starting to change color just a little bit. There's the tiniest little breeze just moving the leaves through the trees. I'm seeing insects around me. I'm hearing birds. And when I breathe, I feel that warmth, sun-filled air come into my nose or mouth, my lungs, and trying to remember to blow out anything that I'm ready to release, and of just letting things go, even just a little. You may notice there's some traffic sounds in the background. I notice those as well. And they're not the most pleasant sounds, but the reality is that sometimes we have environments that aren't perfect. They're not 100% zen. That doesn't mean that we can't find our own sense of peace within, or a sense of like letting go of some of the outer world and outer busyness. Doesn't have to be perfect. Sometimes kids may be running around or in the next room, or maybe even the TV's on. If you can shut those things down a little bit, or even for just a few moments, that's great. But I think it's more important to learn to find a sense of center, even with the imperfections and the noise, and sometimes chaos going on around us. So I invite you today with me, or maybe you don't have time right now and you're just checking out the video and you want to set aside 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes for later today, or even get started tomorrow with your intention of just taking some time this week to Let being outside and being in the elements, in nature, give you some restoration, some recuperation. Knowing that each time you do that, as you practice that, your nervous system is getting stronger. So as always, I thank you for joining me. I feel very lucky to have this beautiful piece of land and this path that I get to walk on, and with as many times a day as I want. Not everybody has that, but you know what? Even like when I lived in Chicago, I would walk down the city streets and still be able to find my little piece of peace within me, even though there were lots of people and lots of traffic and way more traffic and construction sounds going on almost 24/7. So it's not about where you are. It's not about what clothes you have to wear or the fancy shoes or the perfect place to walk or be. It's about just letting yourself be. So take a nice full breath in, a long breath out. Take in your surroundings, whatever you can find that feels good, pleasant, even just neutral around you and in your own self, your own body. And that's all it takes. Thanks for practicing. Take care.